Volvo Car Malaysia today doubles down on its commitment to electrification with the launch of the exciting new EX30. With 3 variants available between rear or all-wheel drive and prices starting at just 188,000 ringgit. This should be a pretty interesting product indeed. My name is AIMAN ABDULLAH, this is Malaysian Motoring, and this is our launch coverage of the new Volvo EX30. Now the EX30 will be available in Malaysia in 3 variants, being the Plus, Ultra and Ultra Twin. Now the Plus models will have a single rear-mounted electric motor producing 272 horsepower and 343 Newton-meters of torque, whereas the Ultra Twin also benefits from a front-mounted motor producing a total of 428 horsepower and 543 Newton-meters of torque. The rear-wheel drive models will be able to do 476 kilometers on a full charge, whereas the all-wheel drive models will do 450. But in exchange for that range, you now get 0 to 100 in just 3.6 seconds. Now the EX30 benefits from Volvo's very latest design language, which is clearly inspired by the EX90. So up front you get the reimagined Thor's Hammer daytime running lights, replete with the automatic LED high beams and main beams living in here. Down the side you get 19-inch alloy wheels on all variants, wrapped in Goodyear efficient grip performance tyres, suitable for a vehicle again offering this level of performance. As we move further down the side we get the frameless rear view mirrors, also standard across the range, and overall you can tell that this is ultimately a compact vehicle. The EX30 sits below the C40 and XC40 in the lineup, and so dimensionally it is also a little bit smaller. Now the platform itself is also shared between other models, including the Smart #1, #3, as well as the Zeekr X. Now while these cars share a lot of similarities underneath the skin, they all provide very unique, very different experiences between them, which is why the EX30 has a very unique exterior and interior design that doesn't compromise on practicality despite the diminutive dimensions. This is especially clear at the rear, where despite the signature design language, it again does not compromise on practicality. Because while the tailgate, or what lives behind the tailgate, may seem a little bit small at first glance, you can not only lower this boot floor, but you can also fold the rear seat 60/40 for added practicality. There is also even a little diagram up here on the tailgate to tell you just how much you can fit within the car if you're trying to maximize space. Now we've actually previewed this vehicle before launch, where we did a little bit of an IKEA sweep, being able to fit 2,000 ringgits worth of items within the cabin of an EX30, proving that these cars are indeed practical indeed. Now underneath the boot floor, again, if you choose not to lower that floor, you have a lot more space underneath, which should be big enough to hold your charging cables. Of course, if this is not enough space for you, there's also space underneath the bonnet in order to hide even more things should you want to. Again, small in size, big on practicality. Volvo is very keen to point out that this car not only has a small footprint, but also a small carbon footprint, which is why every material that you see within the EX30 has been optimized for recyclability as well as the use of sustainably sourced materials. So for example, the upholstery on these seats are actually used from recycled denim, and the material that is used down here, this black colored material, is man-made, which is not only more sustainable to acquire, but more sustainable to redevelop later. The same goes for the use of plastics within the car, which are designed again to highlight the fact that all of this is sustainable and recyclable at the end of the car's life. That also means that they have minimized the number of items and parts required within the car to make it a complete package. So for example, we now no longer get an instrument cluster or indeed a heads-up display, because everything is centered within the screen, which is not something I'm a big fan of, but anyway. So all of your driving controls live up here, including the display for your ADAS functionalities. Your gear selector, etc. all live up here as well. On top of that, all settings for the vehicle can be accessed via a menu, which include things like your wipers, your lights, your mirror controls, as well as controls for the centrally mounted glove box. Of course, being a Volvo, they are big on practicality, which means in addition to that space, you also get a couple of cup holders here, which can be removed should you not want them. And of course, when you do deploy them, if it's not cups that you want, you can also remove this plastic binnacle in order to make more space for other items. You will also find a wireless charger here, a false floor down here, replete with a couple of USB-C ports and a cover in order to hide whatever cables you might have living underneath. You also get enormous door bins, big enough for a MacBook should you want to, or at least an iPad. And everything in here again is built to the sort of quality that you would expect from Volvo. And so even though these are all sustainably sourced plastics and sustainably sourced materials, everything feels nice and solid and nice and plush, including these door handles which feel reassuringly metallic. Now, some of the things about this car that I am not a big fan of are the controls for the lock and unlock functionalities as well as the windows. Because even though I have a nice cushy armrest here, all the controls live here in the center. This includes buttons to lock and unlock the car as well as the buttons to raise and lower the windows. And because there are only two switches here, if you'd like to control the rear, you have to press the rear button before then manipulating the rear glass. This, to me, I think is a step too far because this could have been used for all of the other windows, but not for the driver. On top of that, there are also very few controls up here just for the lights and the SOS and all that, because there is no control for a sunshade for this standard fit glass roof on Ultra models. Now, speaking of specifications on the variants themselves, the Plus models do not get the glass roof, nor do they get the electrically adjustable front seats, or indeed the 360 camera and upgraded pilot assist for parking. That is only available on the Ultra models, although even the Plus models are pretty well specified. It is worth noting that no matter which variant you get, they all use the same NMC battery with the same 11 kilowatt AC charging and unspecified DC charging, which we expect to be probably at about 150 kilowatts. Small outside, big inside. Even though the EX30 is ultimately a smaller vehicle compared to the #1 and the Zeekr X, as you can see with the front seats at my driving position of about 170 centimeters, I still have a pretty decent amount of knee room and a pretty decent amount of headroom. I also get huge door bins here, a removable center bin that lives in the center console, as well as a couple of USB-C ports, and again, my window controls live here in the middle. If I want to stretch out, I can tuck my feet in underneath the seat in front of me, just about, but more importantly, because of the way the interior packaging has been optimized, it does mean that if you have bulky rear-facing child seats, they should be able to fit in this seat without brushing against the back of the front seats. All of this material is designed to be hard-wearing as well, so even if you do have younger children who like to kick the back of the seats, they shouldn't scuff all that much. So overall, this does present itself as a very premium experience in a very compact package. Now, being a Volvo, the EX30 is also big on safety, which is why these cars come chock full of the Volvo Safety Sensing suite of active safety features. These include things like autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection, as well as adaptive cruise control with traffic jam assist, active automatic headlights with automatic high beam, exit alert, rear cross traffic alert, a 360-degree camera with rear AEB, and so much more. Again, everything you'd expect with something bearing the iron mark. Now, the Volvo EX30 again comes to Malaysia starting at 188,000 ringgit for the Plus model, rising to 208,000 ringgit for the Ultra, and then topping out at 228,000 ringgit for the Ultra Twin Performance. All cars come as standard with a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty, as well as an 8-year for the high voltage battery. On top of that, you also get 5 years of free servicing and 24-hour complimentary roadside assist throughout that warranty period. And all of this is also transferable to the next owner should you choose to sell within that 5-year period. There are also financing packages available from Volvo, and of course these cars will be available for everyone to come and see, touch, feel and test drive and experience for themselves this weekend here at the Sungai Bersih Airport. Let us know what you think about the new Volvo EX30 in the comments section below. Do you think that this car looks as funky as we do? And more importantly, would you prioritize performance or range? We certainly know where we'd sit. In any case, that concludes our launch coverage of the new Volvo EX30. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon to be notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and you can join our new WhatsApp channel. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We will catch you in the next one. Take care, stay safe and stay alive.